Welcome to our session on how we used iPads over the winter intersession. So a general overview of the project that we engaged in was that through Striving Readers grant and the ELL department, 25 students from Worcester and Vaughan took part in an experiential technology learning session. The students took the iPads home for the 3 weeks of winter break, one of which was spent on field trips and working together. The way that we compiled all of our work together was through Google Drive, so when teachers from Worcester, Vaughan Middle School, the ELL department, as well as the Striving Readers department, including their parent involvement facilitator and their tech coordinator, were able to collaborate together. Here's a brief example of how this worked. The way we collaborated for this project was through Google Drive. So we created a shared folder between all of the instructors of the courses, and as you can see here, we made different folders. So for example, for the university days, we were collaborating on different thoughts we had, what different activities we could have were. We also did one for the Nevada Museum of Art Day, wherein we collected some pieces of work that we thought the students could work on. And then in the end, we created a folder that we ended up sharing with the students. And we went over to share, and from here you can control who has it and who can do what with it, whether they can edit or just view. And through here you can see that, for example, the students had a couple of podcasts on Frida Kahlo, which was one of the exhibits that we saw. For the Tahoe Meadows, there was some 8 common mistakes of survival out in the wilderness, natural-born killers, some survival scenarios that the students worked on prior to us coming all together for the final week, a university folder where we have some videos on minerals and earthquakes, and a detailed schedule for the students in case they forgot over the 2 weeks where they were supposed to be and when. And all of this stuff was created collaboratively over the drive. So we also were able to do things like create student groups through Google Draw, and those were just a couple of the examples of how we collaborated through Google Drive. So with that collaboration, we were able to pull together a large amount of work and pieces so that the students could have a more rich experience. The way that we involved families was we had a meeting with each individual family or in groups wherein we introduced them to this project. Since we did check out iPads to them, we went through all of this, the purpose, responsibilities of each stakeholder, the schedules, food, and funding of the project. The purpose was to expand background knowledge by engaging in activities in the local area, to utilize technology that will enhance language abilities, and to have an opportunity to write with support. We went over the responsibilities again of each stakeholder, including the staff, students, and family. We went into detail with each family about where we'd be going. Monday we went to the University of Nevada, Reno. We took City Fair. On Tuesday, we also went to the University of Nevada, where we went to the Keck Museum and the Seismology Lab. Wednesday, we went to the downtown public library, where the students got library cards, and in the afternoon we went to the Nevada Museum of Art for an art tour. Thursday, we went to the Tahoe Meadows, and the Tahoe Rim Trail guided the students on a winter survival experience. And then Friday, it was a full work day where the students created their collaborative projects and presented them in the Worcester Theater that evening. The technology that was used over this intersession were iPads, so each student received an iPad. The school that we branched from mainly was Worcester, and they have Wi-Fi there, which was important to initially load all of the work onto. So we had a pre-session with the students and we preloaded work on, and the students could access this work from home without having access to the internet. We also used an app called Notability where the students could take written and audio notes. We used the photo and video app to document the experiences, and the students chose one of these 3 presentation modes as the final presentation tool, either Haiku Deck, iMovie, or Creative Book Builder. There were challenges throughout this week that we had the students engage in, so you have this packet that you were given for our session. Challenge 1 is what the students went over on the bus on the way to the university the first day. And the next challenge was, while we were at the university, we were in a computer lab where we had Wi-Fi, and the students collaboratively came together to establish some norms. So at first they brainstormed in the Notability app, as it says in step 1, all of the following questions: how they wanted to feel, what they expected to learn. And then in the second step, students all simultaneously put in their groups norms that they wanted us to follow. The third challenge was involving photos and Haiku Deck. So the students learned some basic principles of photography and how to use a camera on an apparatus such as an iPad, and then they came together to create a presentation on how to take pictures with Haiku Deck. And we gave them some resources here on some sites to explore on some rules of photography for using that kind of technology. And Challenge 4 was a video and iMovie, so we went through the principles of video with the iPad. And then there was some videos that the students could watch on how to use the iMovie application. And then there was also just a general sheet that we had for main photography and video rules while they were out taking photos and videos. The 5th challenge we had was at the museum. Before we went to the Tahoe Meadows, we had the students use an app called Intel Ranking, and the students, previously one of our teachers put in all of the supplies that one might want for survival, and the students had to read through and decide which they would prioritize. If they could only take 5, and then they could compare with other classmates. This is really what it looked like once students had compared with one another and prioritized their survival tools. And the final challenge we had was to use the Creative Book Builder app, where the students were able to tell a story. So those were their challenges. Today's structure is going to consist of this individual overview on the iPad of the sessions. The second part is going to be a brief student and teacher panel where you can ask students and teachers questions about this experience and the use of the technology. Third, we'll be participating with an app. So you'll choose an app, and then a student and a facilitator will guide you through one of the challenges that we have the students go through. And the fourth will be a whole group discussion of the application of iPads in the classroom. So in a little while, you will select whether you would like to use either Haiku Deck, iMovie, or Creative Book Builder for today's exploration, as we won't have time to go through all of them. And finally, just to connect to some 21st century learning dimensions and what our standards are currently saying, we wanted to view some of those aspects with you. So on the left side, you can 6 kind of 21st century skills: skilled communication, self-regulation, use of ICT for learning, knowledge construction, real-world problem-solving and innovation, and collaboration. And on the right side, you can see its standard correspondent. So students are able to adapt to communicating with audience, task, purpose, and discipline in mind, demonstrate independence and become self-directed learners, effectively seeking out and using resources to assist them, such as this technology, using technology and digital media strategically and capably, refining and sharing knowledge through writing and speaking comprehension as well as critiquing, coming to understand other perspectives and cultures, and students working together to express ideas and integrate information, which were all part of this intercession. So that's the overview. We hope you enjoyed today's session.